Oh, I would assume.
We have slippers, we have a giant Pokeball, I have a Pikachu.
Have you ever met that girl in Florida with the Volkswagen Bug?
Yes.
Yes.
Mika Belchu.
Yes. I thought that's a collector gone.
She's got a lot
hardcore.
of things, and she's incredibly talented. She makes all these gowns, and she's really amazing.
Excellent.
So I have met her.
So if you press the button, make sure that there's the green light on.
No.
Press
Now
it.
it is?
Oh, there you go. Now it's amplifying you.
Oh yeah. So can you hear me like this?
Can you hear her in the back if she's like that?
Is this better? Better. Okay.
That's better.
Is this better? One
Or two. Okay, that's an eye doctor thing. Okay.
You
yes.
ready?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I was born ready.
Let me see if I have any other questions. I'm sorry, I got the mic first. You guys have to wait. So you have that many Pikachu. Who's your second favorite Pokemon?
Charizard's my second favorite because I live in highly trafficked areas and I could fly around instead of driving. So Charizard's my second choice.
Okay.
Practicality.
Excellent.
Yes.
How many copies of the video game do you own? Like, what versions?
Video game? We have Pokemon Red.
Okay, there you go.
My daughter and I each have a DS, and we have one Pokemon Red between us. And I've played a tiny bit of it on hers because she won't let me play. So, that's it.
Wrap your brain around that, folks.
Yeah, but does it matter that I really don't play many video games? The only one I really own is Professor Layton. That's it.
Okay.
So,
That's a great game.
yeah, but I don't play a lot of video games.
Okay. All right.
So-
Do you guys have questions or?
Oh, they do.
Oh, no.
You sure? Oh, okay. I'm gonna let them ask questions. So
Okay.
here you go, guys.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, Veronica. We were just walking down here.
Yes, I know we're.
I wanted to ask you, with Pokemon having so many competitors like Digimon, Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh, all this crazy stuff coming out of the blue. What do you think has kept Pokemon alive compared to all of these crazy, just powerful creatures that can easily, seeming far more stronger than the Pokemon?
Right. Well, I do think, I think it's two-sided. I worked on Pokemon the first 8 years, and I would say it was the stories that really made it a much more meaningful franchise, let's call it. I think we all were able to go on the journey with our friends, with Ash and his friends. And I think it was the story of it that really kept it going. I think they make great video games and the card games. Those things keep people united through many different languages, not just if you watched it in English or in Japanese or, with the TV show. The games have really kept this whole thing floating along, I think. Because I think everyone in here has played some Pokemon game, and everyone would say it was really great, right? I mean, there's always something exciting, and the Pokemon are so interesting, and you have to learn so much about each one, so it's imaginative, it's creative, and it challenges you in many ways, not just how fast you can push buttons.
Yeah.
So, but I really enjoyed the stories of the shows, so that's what kept me a Pokemon fan.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Hello.
Hello, I am Ash going through his heavy metal years.
Yes, you are. I see the future, and it is you. It's good.
Anyways, growing up with the movies and the show, I was always wondering, how did it feel for you to finally see the character that you gave an English voice to on the big screen and actually be a financial success?
Well, it was an incredible thing to, first of all, know that anyone was watching the show at all, but to be able to go, for that premiere of the first movie, I got to go from New York to LA to see it, and my daughter was not quite one. She's in the little baby Bjorn, and we saw the show, and it was just, so obviously when I first saw it, I did have to take her outside if she was crying, so I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was a really incredible moment to just see something so big. And back then in 1999, even the movie screens were bigger than they are now. So it was huge. And I don't know, I didn't realize it was so big. I guess when we recorded the movie, it was on a smaller screen. So it was, I guess I felt pretty much like all of you did. Just like, wow. and that movie was pretty intense too. I guess on the side of it being a financial success, the great thing was that we had a second season after that, so that was a good thing, and then we had a third, and then a fourth. We never knew if the show was going to go on or not, but towards the end of each season we'd find out if we were renewed in a sense.
Must have been even crazier to know that NSYNC did the theme for the first movie.
Then in sync?
Yeah.
Oh, they
NSYNC.
did the theme?
Yeah, they did the opening theme in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is insane. Wow, I actually didn't know that. I didn't get to meet them, so now I'm disappointed. Wow, that is cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I didn't read all the credits, just where my name was.
All right, my question is, in the Pokemon shows that Ash went to his adventures, all the friends he made, what was your favorite friend he made?
Well, I did the voice of May, so I'm going to say she was my favorite. But actually, I think that, in truthfulness, Ash, Brock, and Misty, I think were the best. They all had their own weaknesses and strengths, and they were allowed to it really showed you how to work together and use the best that we all have to offer to get the job done, to reach your goals. And I think they were the greatest three friends.
I do say so myself.
Glad to know. Pikachu's the best. What?
Of course, everyone loves Pikachu.
You're right. Hello.
Hello. Maybe possibly, could you do your Ash voice?
Yeah.
I've never heard it I've never heard you do it in person.
Hey, Dallas Fan Expo, I choose you!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How long have you been voicing Ash?
I did the first 8 years of the show. We started it in 1998, and then I did 8 years after that. We were all replaced at the end of the 8th season when Pokemon USA took the show from 4 kids, and they didn't want to use us anymore. So, in essence, we were fired. Otherwise, I would still hopefully be working on the show now. But none of us left the show willingly.
Cool.
Hi.
My friend couldn't come, and she was wondering if you could do your Amelia for Great Justice line.
I don't know what the line is. What is it? Do you know? For great justice.
What she says all the time, that for great justice.
Thank you. How about,
Just do one of them.
yeah, I'll just figure out something. I don't remember any lines from any show I've ever done.
Aww.
Because we go in the studio, you get the script for the first time, and you just go through it. And some lines I might say once, and some lines I might say 5 times, just to get the right lip sync. But otherwise, and then that's it. And then we leave, and I never see the show again. I never know how it comes together. And then, unless I watch it later, and I haven't seen much of Slayers, so that's why I don't know what she says. But she would say something to the effect of, truth, justice, love, for the, what was the word you wanted me to say?
For great justice.
Oh, right, for great justice! Yeah! Sorry, but that's why I have no idea. Even Ash says Pikachu used Thundershock all the time. I remembered that. But you know, in reality, we don't have a lot of time to even prep. Even the shows that I do that are prelay, which is we do the voices first and they draw them later, we don't have a lot of time to prepare those.
Yeah,
So I don't even know what people's catchphrases are. I'm working on Sailor Moon right now, and Sailor Pluto has some catchphrases, but I don't know what they are yet. But other people do, and I can say them, but I don't know off the top of my head what they are. So I don't mean to disappoint you, but it's just that I don't have much time to retain it all. And usually I'm doing 5 jobs in a day. So I go from that, I go to something else, I go to something else. So what I've done at 9 a.m., I've forgotten by 2. So, anyway, just so you know. There you go.
And then my question is, what Pokemon would Amelia have if she were in Pokemon?
Oh, she would, Amelia. Does everybody know Amelia from Slayers? Slayers is a really funny, magical show where they travel around and eat a lot. She would probably have Diglett. Something weirdly small in the ground. I don't know, because she's so small. Yes.
Hi. So, as you mentioned earlier, you've voiced other characters such as May in some of the later seasons, as well as Ash's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was wondering, talking about like the differences from playing the young, brash Ash, like that rhymed, and the girl next door type May, and of course his protecting mother. What are the exact like, differences and what you had to go through to kind of get your mindset in those different characters?
Well, I do a lot of audiobooks, and in that you read the story and then you figure out who all the characters are, because when I'm recording an audiobook, I record it all like I'm reading the story out loud to you. So I figure out different things about each character that I could hook back into. It's very similar when you're working on a cartoon, except that when you're dubbing, you do all of Ash's lines, then I would do all of his mom, and then all of May. So you don't have to flip back and forth. So it's easier to be like, oh, now I'm this character. It's not as tricky. But basically, I just figure, I know kind of where each of them speaks from, where their energy sits, and I pop into that character when I'm doing it. So, Ash is kind of like this, and then May is, kind of around here, and his mom is just lovely. But they all have a different flow, and also with that, you're fitting the lip flap, so you have to kind of fit it in. So it's not that hard if you've prepared ahead of time.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
My question is, what is it like voice acting a character with a growing fan base that is diversifying, I guess?
Well, really, for me, when I'm in a studio working on a show or at home recording something, I don't have a lot of time to think about how many people watch it. And it's nice to work on something that's popular. Ninja Turtles has, everybody knows Ninja Turtles from the 80s, and then I worked on it in the 2000s. And knowing that it's such an iconic show already, working on Sailor Moon, it has a built-in fan base. And so, as with everything, you want to honor it and do the best job you can do. But at the same time, that's what I do every day.
Yeah.
And so I don't really think about how many people watch it or how popular it is. But I just think about being 100% there and doing the best job I can. But then it's nice to come to a show and actually see that people have watched it and we have a lot to talk about. So that's where it pays off for me. I think about it more when I'm here.
And it's probably pretty cool to meet guests who have been watching you 13 years ago playing Ash.
Yeah.
And then they'll be an adult seeing you for the first time.
Right, it's really great. And like that thing of me being in your living rooms for so long, and now here we are face to face.
Yeah, it's really...
It's an amazing thing for me. I really can't put it into words how awesome, in the true sense of the word, that is. It's humbling and extraordinary. And as a little actor, I never imagined that I would be able to meet so many people because of, a show that I did or some shows that I did. So I can't thank you all enough for coming out, and it really means the world to me.
It's really special for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. I have a good question for you.
Okay.
Who would you like to see Ash kick in a Pokemon? Let me start over.
Okay.
Whose butt would you like to see Ash kick in a Pokemon battle? Would you like to see Ash kick Nico Robin's butt or Sailor Pluto's?
Ooh. Well, Nico Robin has a lot of arms, and so I don't know if anyone can move fast enough in a Pokemon battle. She's like, and as the guardian of space and time, I don't think you want to mess with Sailor Pluto. That can really mess you up for a long time. I think Ash would do the right thing and just lose.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to ask you, who's your top 5 favorite beginner Pokemon?
Pikachu I know isn't really a beginner, but that's my top #1 all-time pick for anything. Every list. Then I guess we'd have to go with the Squirtle and the Charmander and the Bulbasaur, and that's 4. Pidgey. How's that? That's good, keep it safe.